Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the one and the only Rum Boys Fantasy Network. This is our traditional and usual Wednesday night here during the sports offseason, the NFL offseason, where we discuss, well, anything and everything, and sometimes, most of the time, absolutely nothing. This is the show about nothing. As always, I'm your host, Rum Boys Robbie, aka the Admiral. We greatly appreciate you guys for tuning in, and welcome to the Rum Boys Fantasy Network. Make sure that you subscribe, hit that like button, and also be sure to dial into the live chat and enjoy tonight's topic and indulge. As always, I am joined by my very loyal co-host, and tonight we actually have a special guest for you, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, up first, we have representing the GMM Network, Bogard Scott Free.
Hey, we make something out of nothing on the show about nothing.
Hell yeah, dilly. I can't disagree about that. I can't disagree with that.
Oh, hold on. We're ignoring that.
And our special guest for the evening, this Wednesday evening, thank this gentleman for joining us, the shithead Stoner.
What's up, gentlemen? Thanks for having me.
What's
I
up,
appreciate
Stoner?
you. Dude, if there's ever someone who can kick it on a show about nothing, it's a man who literally tweets about nothing on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want to make sure you guys
Make it look
get a
Black
good look
Lives
at that.
Matter.
Yeah, because, you know,
Today is a good day.
if ever there's a day to say, fuck Donald Trump, today's that day.
Yeah.
But I had to represent the hat. I had to represent the Mets flag. And here I am representing the Stoner.
There you go.
Thanks for having me, guys. Talking about nothing. But
yeah.
I end up believing that the show is going to be about something by the time it's done.
Oh yeah. The show's definitely about something. First off, before we begin, gentlemen, how's you guys' day going? Bogard, Stoner, how's the vibe in the atmosphere first?
It's good, man. You know what I mean? There wasn't no assassination attempts or no, you know what I mean? I mean, on my life, you know what I mean?
Honestly, bro,
my life.
mine neither.
So, you know what I mean? I feel really good right now. You know what I mean? I like my chances. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
We out here,
I feel like today was a good day, and as a whole, I think the country kind of felt like a little bit of a weight lifted. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it's perfect right now. There's a lot
less orange.
Yeah, it's a lot less orange. Yeah.
But it's safe to say that the evil that an evil has been lifted. You know, I mean,
Yes.
doesn't mean there aren't more evils still floating around, but
They out there, but we ain't.
Lesser of two evils.
it's nice to know that the people in charge seem to give a fuck about people in general, rather than just worrying about themselves. But we got a lot of you got to watch film. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Film too, baby.
Hey, but shit, yo, fellas, let's go ahead and dive into tonight's show. Before we do, go ahead and raise your glass. Fellas, I see we got a Yingling in the house. We got your Bud Light. I got a fat tire over here in terms of my beer, and I got a shot. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rum Boys and girls. What it do?
Let's do, baby.
What it do?
So tonight's topic.
This is the first time I've been on since I was. I don't know if I should be talking about this right now on a show about nothing. Since I was unceremoniously released by the Undroppables. I don't want to get into it, but I feel like it's important for me to mention that I am currently a free agent.
Free agent,
which is why Robbie did not introduce me as a member of those who shall remain unnamed at the moment.
So wait a second. So it is possible to be dropped from the Undroppables.
Oh God, he did it.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean,
you're carrying the load.
I'm
You're
pretty
dropping
much Gandalf. I'm Mr. Incredible. I mean, you got to be on that type of level to be dropped from the undroppables. But Robbie, what's the topic for today?
Exactly. Let's get into tonight's show. So tonight's show actually is about, believe it or not, it's kind of a balance of two things. Is there such thing as, I guess you could say, a bad drug, or also the medicinal effects of psychedelic psychosis effects? So first, kind of diving into it, me being a military veteran and kind of how we stumbled upon this topic for tonight myself is
how we pontificated.
Yes, pontificated. Thank you, Ti. But me as a military veteran, aside from my
That's literally one of my favorite words.
It really is. I was like,
I love you
expeditiously.
I used to use it long before T.I. threw that shit out.
Now,
it's a good word.
I'm clearly older than him.
A very articulated, educated brother like myself, you know, a young light skin here in the state of America, needs to just point out specific things to y'all in my vernacular, just the way that I may talk and the way that I may slang. You understand what I'm saying? Let me stop with my T.I. impersonation. No, for real though. Kind of sent me on a journey. I had dealt with the military kind of diagnosing me with massive amounts of painkillers to kind of, you know, get over PTSD, you know, body trauma, you know, multiple different things. They had me on several different ups and downers. Eventually, I do want to state that at this given moment, I am completely clean. I do not take a single type of medication, any type of form like that. Pharmaceutical. I smoke, and I have been known to dabble in the topic here at hand. Okay, and that is psychedelics. Psychedelics has been something to help me get over my PTSD and kind of come to grips and come to terms with things that I saw in the military, in hostile environments, which leads us into: are there some things that are good? Are there some things that are bad? Are there things out there that they're saying that they're bad that could maybe help us, so on and so forth? And I turn the floor over to my panel.
I think drugs are great. Listen, drugs are bad.
Thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
Exactly, yeah.
I want to say this, like, it's let's start off by getting some categories going.
I think you need to first off define what you mean.
Yeah.
When you say drugs are good,
yeah,
like, what is it that you're defining as a drug in that context?
What's up, Brian?
So legal drugs are obviously good. Like, you know, you have, like, say,
things that they tell you, the things that you know, they tell you, you know, are things that they can prescribe you. Things that they can prescribe you.
Yeah, like if you
don't know, hype. Appreciate it, Brian.
Yep.
Appreciate it, dog.
Shout out to Brian.
Go ahead, man. Continue.
So, like, you know, pharmaceutical drugs, I'll say they're not all bad. You know, there's ones that, like, people have mental health conditions and chemical imbalances, and they need to take things for, you know, depression or bipolar. There's stuff like that.
Chemical imbalances. The chemical imbalances. Yeah.
There's stuff like that. That's like, you know, there's a lot of research, a lot of long distance research too, like, you know, so you know about long-term side effects, etc. You know what I mean? Then you have, you know, things like fentanyl, like, you know what I mean, which is like
what's killing people, which
the
is
extreme,
that is like
blatant, like, heroin-esque, you know what I mean? Like, basically heroin, and like just
a
ultra
street
addictive.
thing,
and not even just a street thing. This is actually like big.
It can't be described to you,
Big farm, like, you know, they like. You know, people that I knew that were fucking with, like, fentanyl, like, they graduated to, like, the fentanyl strips and, like just had it bad, like heroin, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it creates addiction. It's one of those that creates addiction.
I didn't grow up in, like, you know, a heroin era. You know what I mean? Like, you know, where I'm from, San Jose, California, we've seen a lot
Can you say that again, please?
heron. that boy, dog food. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But like opiates in general, that thing is bad, man. Like, you know,
look, pharmaceuticals are bad, man. I'm just
gonna
jump in.
Yeah, just
pharmaceuticals are bad. I'm not. Look, back in the day, medicine was designed to cure a disease.
Yeah,
and it got to a point,
help you get through it, because
it got to a point where pharmaceuticals became more about the money than it did, because now you got people that are hooked on these meds, right? That are now taking 3-4 other meds because of all the side effects. Yeah. But then on the flip side, you got people that are hooked on even the stuff like you said for the depression, or like the Xanax and the whatever.
Xanax is I think it categorized as a barbiturate. If I remember correctly,
I'm going to give you an example. I have a friend who was taking 2 to 3 Xanax a night to go to bed.
Yeah,
and she needed another.
That was one of the.
She needed another one in the morning just to get out of bed to function. Right.
Wow.
But so I sent her some bud. I was like, look, I got a dude that fucking tells me this strain is the best. It's a Northern Lights Bubba Kush combo.
Love it.
I sent her an eighth of that. She smoked that shit and was like, yo, I didn't need any more Xanax. Yeah. Like, keep sending me that stuff. So I think to an extent there are people that do benefit from some pharmaceuticals. But overall, I think pharmaceuticals stopped at some point.
Working. I think at some point they stopped working, and I think that at some point
they stopped caring about fixing something, and they only cared about making money.
And in my case, you know, for me, it was killing me, and it was honestly, it became making things worse. But
look, if you got somebody that's in a car accident and they are in the process of a surgery and they need stuff,
I get that. That is
right.
100%.
Like, it happens, right? Yeah. You got somebody that going into sepsis because of a disease that they caught too late. They definitely need antibiotics and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, I just don't think the other stuff is as beneficial as anything. I think that the pain meds that you talked about is the actual gateway drug. They talk about
the antithesis.
The gateway drug.
Is it the antithesis?
It's oxys. It's Norcos. It's that stuff
that leads people that kills
you. Go into heroin. It's people that were taking Adderall that can't get it anymore that are now moving to meth. And shit like that. Like, I mean,
that is one in the 90s. That is one in the 90s and the 2000s that went so rampant in our homes, you know, in American homes, that, you know, parents were giving this to their kids because doctors were literally like, your kid has, and it was like, it went from, you know, no one has, you know, ADD, you know, just whatever, like, and then all of a sudden, every kid had fucking ADD. I was one of those kids, you know, and my mom to this day, she was like, I'm so sorry that I did that.
Ritalin, the vitamin, to Adderall, to all that.
It went from Ritalin, Concerta to Adderall to Vyvanse.
She was diagnosed at 12. They had her drinking coffee at 12 and then popping pills at 13. Damn. By the age, I mean, 2 years ago, she was paying $250 out of pocket to a shady doctor to write her a 3-month script that she could consume in a month. So she was taking 3 months worth of fucking Adderall over the course of a month.
Damn.
That shit makes people crazy, dude. Like
crazy. It's bad,
crazy.
And it takes a toll on you, and especially when you're young. You know, it makes you lose weight. And one of the things that they'll do is in their time release capsules. And like the doctor will literally tell parents, you can put this in your kid's food. It's like, what the fuck do you mean I can put this in my child's food to admit it? I can understand, you know, a child rejecting it and da-da-da. And I can understand If it's something that it has to
I
keep
would
it alive.
tell her.
Right.
I would tell her that dinner was going to be done in 15 minutes, and she would snap at me because it wasn't going to be done in 10. So, like, you're right. But it also affects your mood so heavily.
No, the mood swings are so bad.
Every little thing.
Yeah, because you become
makes
adjusted.
You snap. Like, it's disgusting.
Yup. You know, and that's one of those things where it's like, okay, like, you know, here it is, like, there is, and now let's get into the contrast of this and the flip side of this. You know, I can like this plant, and now all of a sudden, everything is different. You know, I feel a lot better, especially in terms of mental health. That main aspect and that main avenue right there in terms of mental health, that now changes, and I can now remain throughout the day, you know, kind of even killed. My kidneys don't hurt, you know, fucking, you know, I'm gonna be honest, like let's just reveal something. You know, when you're on
you don't have a nasty attitude. You're not on edge.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, no, I'm gonna be very personal. You know, when you're on a regimen like the military had me on of the pills, it fucking hurts to shit in the morning, okay? Because you are just shitting out pills. You're shitting out your whatever food you had in between.
They usually give you like a laxative too. You know what I mean?
There's one. Yeah, there's usually always one up in there, and it's just
not necessarily a laxative, but a stool softener.
Stool softener. Yeah, it's a stool softener. It's a little fucking red pill. Yeah.
Yep, little triangle joint.
Yep, and it is terrible. Like it's you know, why put your body through that, you know? And then
because there's somebody in a white coat who's labeled a doctor that, like, we were raised in America to trust this motherfucker. Like, all right,
but again,
but you should trust the doctor. You should trust the
when
doctor.
That shit changed. Look, doctors used to have a black bag and make house calls, right? They actually used to care about making sure their patients were good. And then at some point, again, insurance companies got involved, pharmaceuticals got involved, and the doctors gave more concern to that than actually fixing people.
I invest in stocks.
The whole medical industry is fucked.
I invest in stocks. You can invest in medicine. You can invest in health.
But hey, that little green plant that we smoke that fixes, I don't know, headaches.
You can invest in that as well.
If you don't have an appetite, it'll fix that. If you have trouble sleeping, it'll fix that. Honestly, if you're anxious, it'll work on that too. And I can list about 15 other things that a plant, will fix. But because the pharmaceutical industry cannot make money off of that plant, they have drugged their ass on making that shit federally legalized, and that's the biggest issue. Because pharmaceuticals have their hands and their money in the fucking pockets of politicians, and that is the problem.
With pharmaceutical companies, you know what I'm saying? They, you know, it's about like mimicking some shit that's natural. So if like they have synthetic marijuana, they were able to synthesize a spray, then they could go ahead and spray it on some type of parsley or whatever the fuck, some fucking shrubs.
Yeah, they got a pill called Marinol.
Boom.
Yeah, there's a Marinol pill.
They're able to synthesize the cannabinoid, but nothing is like the almighty original natural shit. You know what I mean? And like the whole reason marijuana barely came around at the turn of this last millennium, as far as like the legalities and then now like recreational use, etc., is because of the prohibition in the 20s. You know what I mean? Like it was another big biz. You know, the Rockefellers who with their kerosene and their gas companies, and like they were afraid of this hemp being like, you know, the hemp oil being the next new big shit. Then on top of that, hemp also made phenomenal paper, and you know what I mean? And like, so, you know, they created propaganda about marijuana and they threw hemp in that category, and they made it a Schedule 1. So we had to fight that for a long time. And some of these psychedelic drugs we're about to get into, they were just unfortunately be labeled Schedule 1 joints too. So it's like, you got to go through all the, the red tape just for them to even like consider things being medicinal, because they wouldn't want to put any kind of medical trials or
there was a study done. Bogart, I believe you remember the year. It was kind of post World War II. It was a housewife, an American housewife.
Yep.
And she was administered. You guys can actually look this up. This video is on YouTube. This is public knowledge. There were trials. There were medical trials that were done. Hang on, fuck. I'm trying to remember the exact.
They did in the 50s and 60s. They did
Yeah,
trials
it was the
for
50s
everything.
and the 60s. Yeah,
They did trials for everything. LSD. You know what I mean? MDMA. You know what I mean? I think.
Let's not give too much away, but the Nazis used acid as a truth serum.
Yeah, as a truth serum. Yeah.
I mean, but look, if we really want to talk shit about the pharmaceutical industry, here's the bullshit, right? Alcohol, beer. They used to be able to advertise to us all the time, right? And they really reeled that back. Cigarettes used to be commercials all the time. They really reeled that back. But you know what they never reeled back? They actually ramped up pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at commercials, I would say 1 out of 5 commercials is the fucking some stupid ED pill or something. Because
it's funny too.
Shit. And watch those commercials and listen to all the side effects. Literally, the side effects.
It's like, why am I going to take this?
Side effects. It's like, look, I'd rather not be able to shit than die.
Yeah. Or it would be like some type of antidepressant, and it'd be like, side effects are suicidal thoughts. It's like, yo, aren't you supposed
suicide, homicide, genocide? Like what?
There's clinical trials done, and the woman, she has stated that feelings of depression and anxiety had kind of left, and also kind of feelings of
the Quaalude.
Wow.
No, I'm serious. They made it for the housewives.
But the feelings of being having to be at
a lot of it was postpartum depression.
Yeah,
is where it started.
Yeah,
it started with postpartum depression. People didn't understand that it was because of the hormones.
Yeah, the chemical.
Like, why are all these women depressed? They've got kids. They should be happy. They're in a happy life. But it's like, their shit is fucked up because hormonally it's fucked up. Like, that's how it really, like, that whole madness started. And yeah, you're right though. Keep going, Robbie. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. And she goes on to kind of state how through that experience, of course there were things of colors and shapes that she had never seen and never felt, but also a sense of freedom, that she had never felt. There are also cases where people have gone on to state, they have dealt with.
What were they giving them? MDMA? Like what?
It was LSD. It was LSD.
Okay.
But there have also been places experiments done where people have stated, off of even something stronger, ayahuasca, DMT, things of those natures, and even off of just simple psilocybin, where people have stated, I had once had addiction, and now I have overcame that. I now don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't.
I'm from the Bay Area, bro. I'm from the Bay Area in Berkeley.
Microdosing is a thing. Yes.
No, it's not just a thing. It's they already passed all the clinical trials and stuff, and they're actually administering. Like there's therapists that are administering this shit, and you could actually go to certain boutiques and certain dispensaries, and you could buy.
So let me ask you a question.
Products.
Because I remember when I first got to California, obviously weed wasn't legal at the time. You had to go to a shady doctor and pay $50 cash and get some shit up.
Yeah.
So is that where it's at now with microdosing? You could potentially.
So it's already past all that. So there's places you can go if you have a prescription, like what I mean. Or there's even other places where you could buy.
Wait, time out. You can get a prescription for microdosing.
Yes.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
I want to know.
Yeah. Listen, it's even better, bro.
Here in Denver too.
It's even better. It's even better. It's even better. You can go to some places in Berkeley and just outright buy that shit. You know what I mean? Like at a store, like. So like one of my partners, he
Do they sell that at a regular dispensary?
Yeah, there is some. Yeah,
yeah, they have dispensaries and stuff and things of that nature. Like it's really cool looking. Like they're really pretty. Like yeah.
You could get like one of my boys.
I've heard a lot about that in Canada, but I hadn't heard that the dispensaries here had it. That's why I was curious. And I can tell you that the ones in Orange County, there was none of that stuff when I was there.
Yeah, it's not gonna. Berkeley is in the Bay Area. It's a great like testing place. You know what I mean? Like, all right, when it's happening here.
Dude, I love it up there. By the way, I love it.
Yeah,
I love going up to that right on Berkeley's campus where the planetarium is or whatever that thing is.
And I just, really quick, I do want to state, I want to make sure, and I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat. I do have a source here, so that everyone does know, where I am pulling said information in regards to tonight's topic. What's good, J Love? I see you in the chat. He said, "Where the homies at? We're all right here. We're doing the show about nothing. We're doing our show." So there is a link to the source in regards to the 50s housewife that I'm actually speaking of, and there's a transcript, and it also goes through the progression of studies that I'm talking about today, like literally today. Studies have been approved for the Drug Enforcement Agency and the Food and Drug Agency to explore the use of MDMA and more commonly known as ecstasy.
I still don't trust veterans.
To treat veterans of the wars of Iraq and Afghanistan who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder.
What's awesome about it is they do they'll bring your spouse in too. Like they encourage like spousal sessions.
Support.
Yeah, so like you and your spouse pop a Molly, and then and talk about things, and like the medical grade Molly it's got to be the shit, because when I was a weed tyke and we were partying, like that's all it was. There wasn't people out there cutting it up with garbage.
The Molly hit solid though when you did it with your lady and you guys had issues. I can write somebody saying that me and the old lady went through some shit and fought through some shit with ecstasy for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Hart, when he was like, I took my pill, she took her pill, and I was like, baby, I got caught. Oh, that man was tripping. I don't know if y'all remember that skit. That was years ago when he did that.
That's what the MDMA was. MDMA was designed for therapeutical uses. Like it was used to treat PTSD. So that's why it's funny. It takes several decades later, because all these clinical trials they all went on the late 60s and throughout the 70s, and then of course when you have the powers that be like the government, you're doing LSD studies and we could do this. We could use this for MK Ultra, and they start.
There are a few things that I enjoyed personally more than MDMA, to be true.
I like a lot of things from where they came from, like partying, going out dancing.
It because of how it made me feel. I hated the come down.
Yeah.
I always found a way to go shopping the next day and buy myself something to make myself feel better.
Yeah,
but
because that's
at
the
the end of the
serotonin.
day, we always had a blast with that shit. That was the money right there.
Like if you're we used to go and get 5-HTP. So you could buy 5-HTP at any drugstore, and that's a serotonin boost. So after a night of doing Molly,
you're also supposed to start eating that a week ahead of time.
And shit like that.
Yeah, all I would do is I would smoke a blunt and go buy myself something the next day.
Oh yeah,
Jaws. It should. Good. It should. One thing that I will say, we are not advocating. Okay, doing it. We are not advocating. Hold on, let me finish. We are not advocating. Okay,
I'm advocating the use of all of it.
I was about to say you aren't.
No, do not say that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fucking around.
No pharmaceuticals at all either.
We are not advocating anything and everything is your decision. Anything and everything is your decision. This is simply purely a discussion.
Here's another thing too, is if something is deemed illegal, and we'll use marijuana for an example, when trees were deemed illegal, you know what I'm saying? You have decades and decades upon decades of people saying this is illegal. You have all the stigma. Then you run into like a genius weed head. And you're like, he's like, yeah, I smoke weed every day, all day. I'm fucking scholar, PhD, right? So then is that gonna trump the stoner, not you stoner, but like the stoner stereotype? Like, oh, stoners are like, hey man, and they're like dumbasses, like Chomp.
No, it doesn't trump it because I've met some dumbass stoners.
Yes, but if weed was legal this whole time, okay, how about this? Look with alcohol. When you get caught drinking young, you know what they say? You're not old enough to drink. You know what I mean? My kids are gonna grow up in an era where marijuana is legal, and you gotta be 21 to buy it. So if they get caught smoking, does that want to be yelling at them? Hey, you're 18 years old. You're not old enough yet, or you know what I mean? Like, because that's
no, you're not gonna yell that because we grew up in a different era.
But I'm saying though, this is how the perspective is starting to be changed on something like marijuana. We're seeing that with psychedelics now, the ones that they're starting to legalize. Like, you know, like DMT is one of the most illegal substances in America.
Yeah.
They Schedule 1'd it. And I feel like the government Schedule 1 DMT too, because that's a mind opener. They don't want a bunch of free thinkers running around. They saw the 60s.
No, that taps into your pineal gland. Why would they want something that?
I mean, it's all pineal gland.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, it all is. Yeah. Why would they want something that is going to do that? Like
yeah, they don't want free thinkers. They want people. You know, they want people watching reality TV, and they want people on a massive dumbass wavelength of, you know, Kardashian.
That's why they hate me.
No, see, and that's why I appreciate you. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be someone who's gonna cut through the monotony, because some people are afraid to go against the grain, and like, you know, that's what it is with big business. You know, if pharmaceuticals, they go against the grain on anything that they can't capitalize financially on, but now that they're figuring out ways, like DMT, tryptamine itself, that chemical is in everything. We produce it in our pineal gland.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
When you eat a turkey on Thanksgiving,
not dimethyltryptamine. That's what's in.
But it has
turkey
tryptophan,
right now.
Right, and like when you drink a warm glass of milk, it has tryptophan. You know, it activates tryptophan. Like,
I never understood that. I can rightfully say I never drank a warm glass of milk.
Well, because tryptophan, when activated, it also it activates your melatonin, so you'll get sleepy. You know what I mean? So that's why people they eat after Thanksgiving, they take their little turkey nap after. You know what I mean? Like, some people get the itis because it's chock full of tryptophan. But it has
trust me, I've taken plenty of turkey naps.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it's gotta be activated. In this case, it's gotta be warmed up. So that's why people say warm milk. But when you start to concentrate things like DMT, and then you figure out the chemical components, the molecules. Scientists, they can synthesize it. So now you can get the same effects from something that was synthesized. But obviously it's super illegal. And until, you know, these clinical trials like psilocybin mushrooms and stuff like that, once that starts to get more traction, you'll start to open the doors to these other ones. Because
it's interesting you say that, because, you know, the people that are addicted to Oxycontin, right?
Yeah.
That are addicted to pain pills, they actually synthesize something, and the name just fucking slipped my head.
Help wean them off of it.
It's an orange stop sign, and I can't think of the fucking name of it, but it's an orange stop sign looking pill that is designed for people that are addicted to fucking pain meds.
It's Suboxone.
Suboxone, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Thank you. Suboxone.
Yeah, that's what they use. Yeah, that's what they use to wean people off. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I took one of those one time. Okay? This is way back in the day. This is an orange fucking thing. You put it under your tongue and it dissolves. Yeah. I didn't know that I should have only taken like a portion of it. So I took the whole thing. An hour later, I was fucking sweating in a cold shower, throwing up for about 45 minutes. Wow. And then for the next 3 hours, I thought I was going to die. It was literally the worst experience I've ever had in my entire life. So yeah, they not only can chemically create something to fuck you up, but they can chemically create something to get you off of something that has been fucking you up.
Exactly.
It's really bad, dude.
Like a lot of people addicted to opiates or heroin.
John's is so right.
Just opiate addiction. They have clinical studies and that are and trials that are full on in motion. Also for people that suffer from extreme depression as well, they use ketamine. You know what I mean? You'll go.
Ketamine, ketamine is used is something really quick. That is something that is used to put down a fucking horse.
Yeah,
that is horse
tranquilizer.
An elephant. Yeah. Why the hell are you giving a human tranquilizer? Why are people at raves taking horse?
I know bodybuilders that used to take that stuff.
This shit, the treatments are intravenous. So they put you in an IV, and it fucking takes you to that place because it's a psychedelic, but it's also an ego crusher. So that's why the people that are heavily addicted to opiates or some people that suffer from depression, because it's an ego crusher. You're crushing, you're addressing your inner, essentially your inner demons. And a lot of people come out on the other side, and and they're gravy. Like Neil Brennan, comedian, the dude, he's co-creator of the Chappelle Show.
Yeah,
the Chappelle Show. He also co-wrote Half Baked with Chappelle.
He wrote a lot of different things. Yeah,
he wrote a ton of shit.
Dude.
Man.
Yeah,
this dude though, he suffered from crazy ass depression. He used to take all the pills you could think of.
He talks about it in his stand-ups.
Yeah, and he came out on the other side of it. Ketamine treatment. That shit saved his life. You know what I mean? So there is. I guess you could say it's to each his own, but it's cool.
Exactly. So what is so that's why I began the episode so controversial, and those that's tuned in and watched were like, oh shit, I can't deal with this fucking topic. You should have stuck around and realized where we're going. This is why I proposed that question, okay? And this is why I say what I say. It depends on how your body reacts to it. A lot of people out there that follow any of us on any social media platform, a lot of them been to fucking college. I know some of the crazy shit that y'all used to do. Karen, Johnny, Chad, Rachel. Okay,
he says all the most common names.
I just
because you're out there.
All the white people names.
Yeah.
Well, those are people that think they go to college. Honestly. I
Taylor,
went to college in the military.
Taylor, male or female.
Taylor, gosh.
They pick up that college application. They selected all the white names. They're like,
exactly.
They're like, sorry, Deshaun.
Players that were in a fraternity.
All you lacrosse players. Like, here's the thing. It depends on how you react. And I bring up this topic because, okay, this comes back down to a simple form of humanity. There are some of you that tend to forget to look at the janitor with the same respect that you look at the CEO, when really you're just stuck in the program. You're just stuck in the system. You're just stuck in this shit day to day. You're stuck in the fucking rut. You're another cog, okay? And you want to treat some bigwig better than the janitor, when really the bigwig more than likely did the same things as the janitor. It's
because we live in classism. That's why.
I think the interesting part of that
it's just that.
Hold on, more. I think the interesting part of that is that the bigwig is going to treat you like shit, but the janitor is going to be cool as fuck.
Fuck yeah.
But you're going to shit on the janitor and suck the bigwig's dick.
Basically, but I bring this up too because it's like. Don't you look down on the addict? Okay, let's bring it to music. Us that grew up in the era that we all grew up in, we always say, we look at the young generation. We're like, we grew up in the drug.
We grew up in the era where the drug dealers were glorified. Now it's
the user. Now it's the addict. Yeah, Why, when it's like, I created that, we created that. These doctors,
I'm not a snitch, so I'm not going to say too much about that.
Here's the thing. I want to say this.
Doctors, you Wall Street guys, everyone that invests in that plays the standards of the game.
I wanted to establish this earlier, because
you're part of the cog.
There's when we're talking about good and bad drugs, clearly the bad drugs, like, controlled substances, like that's a fucked up category. Crystal meth, cocaine, crack,
that
shit
shit
like
is
that.
awful. That shit
is
destroys
terrible.
communities. That destroys families. That shit destroys homes.
Psychedelics, though, the psychedelics get the worst rap because of the 60s and 70s. Matter of fact, it's even a government a conspiracy that they gave Charlie Manson a bunch of fucking LSD, and they put him in the MK Ultra trials, and you know what I mean. And then next thing you know, there's some hippie group killing celebrities, murdering them, and then now you put a bad shroud.
You put a
bad name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Reefer Madness,
LSD.
Madness had the same thing.
They're like LSD users. Fucking use LSD. You might kill motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna go crazy. Like
it takes generational. What happens is generational wokeness is. I just now fucking can't with this. I don't know if that's a fucking thing.
It's a thing.
If there's some spiritual person that comes in like my chakra,
how do you define that? I mean, if you're gonna live the term out, I like it.
Because
generational wokeness. I think that general wokeness is defined by generations of movements that create common thinking that kind of shake vibrations in the universe and within the atmosphere that wake people up and kind of get them to later conform and later realize. So then later on, their kids now come over and then they realize, and then so on and so forth. To where eventually, we're at where we're at, in our culture where we're like, Bogart, you just brought up, am I going to say, oh, you're 18, you can't do that? No, I'm not going to say that. Like, it's going to be like, because I was doing that. Like, it's so completely different, versus, let's take this beer. There was once, pre-Al Capone, during that era, there was literally people that were like,
you mean during Al Capone?
Bad. Yeah, during Al Capone. Yeah, during Al Capone.
The interesting part is those guys made the most goddamn money back then.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's the same way.
Lucky Luciano was a multi-billionaire because of Prohibition.
Yeah.
But it's crazy.
When something is illegal, like look at the cartel wars, right? Like that's going on in Mexico. Like this is real serious shit. And like, they say, well, if you
what up, JD?
If America, what up, JD? If America legalized these products, right? If they legalize these certain narcotics, it would theoretically.
Chakras will be next week.
It would erase. It would
I
erase.
mean, realistically speaking, if we're going to talk about
because when something's illegal,
about hallucinogens and shit, we're gonna start back in like the '60s, right? I mean,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, that in terms of American culture, yes.
Yeah, because psychedelics.
Because you could go back ancient, civilizations, so on and so forth. But yeah, starting at.
I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, and I remember reading this Pink Floyd book, and the scariest thing. And I was a kid, like I was a teenager reading this book, and it was about fucking Sid Barrett.
Oh, The Wall was the movie. My bad.
It was even before, like, Wish You Were Here, that album came out. Mm-hmm. Sid Barrett was the dude that was writing their songs, and he was an 18-year-old stud kid, and they wanted him to be productive, and they wanted him to be a superstar and keep writing his shit. So little to his knowledge, they kept like dosing him every day with sugar cubes that they would put in his coffee. Damn. And he was fucked up. Like, it got to a point where this dude was so fucked up.
He was perma-tripping. Yeah, he was perma-tripping. Yeah.
That they fucked him up. He had no idea what was real and what was reality. And he, at some point, disappeared.
See, what's fucked up, too, is because he wasn't
aware. They had no idea, like, who he was, like, where he went. Like,
if you're conscious,
dude, I bet those people from, like, the fucking 60s, like, Grateful Dead era.
In 1973, like 4 years after they had never seen this dude again, they were filming or recording Wish You Were Here, the album, in the studio. They were literally recording that song, Wish You Were Here. Mind you, the album Roger Waters wrote about Sid Barrett, the fact that they hadn't seen him in years. And this dude just randomly one day showed up at the studio that they were recording the fucking song about him, and they were like, wait, who is this fat bearded guy that looks like Sid Barrett? Holy shit. That's him.
Fat
like
Sid Barrett.
Yeah. So
like,
I mean, they fucked that dude up. Like, let's keep it real. That dude was a musical genius that many people will never know about because they fucked him up, thinking that they were boosting his creative genius.
What's fucked up is I'm wondering if it was unbeknownst to him, because it's like then that
he had no idea.
That'll drive someone crazy. Because like you know when I be shrooming and I be shrooming hard, there's already the understanding in my mind like, okay,
that this is happening.
Right, yeah, like that's got to be a scary feeling. All of a sudden
he had no idea. They were bringing him.
You're going crazy. He's going crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that'll literally drive a motherfucker crazy.
Yeah, that's some fucked up shit right there.
Yeah. That's
really.
a fucked up homie to have right there. Like, hey, bro, good morning. I got your coffee ready for you.
Bad example, but then you roll into, like Woodstock and shit like that. Like that.
Yeah, Woodstock. That was another moment, but that was one of those moments that really shook the vibrations. And like that was like an era that like really shaped the country. That was a movement that reshaped the country, Like I mean, you look at
Beatles. We're talking about Beatles, Hendrix,
like the Doors,
Grateful Dead.
Yeah, Grateful Dead. From music, everything from music to hell. The fuck, I'll take it this far. Stonewall to Black Panthers. Fucking all that shit. Like everything that's happening now. It's so many things in the universe that shake the vibrations, and when you take a second and you are underneath that different element, it's freeing. Two, it kind of helps you kind of understand everything around it. It slows everything down. Think of it like a fucking spider sense, like how Mike Tyson describes the toad. It's that.
Yeah, and the toad is 5-MeO DMT. So this is the shit right here, and that comes from the venom of the Sonoran frog.
But see, you don't even have to go to that extent though. Like anything like that can kind of
anything, bro. No,
not anything. Not anything.
5-MeO DMT is
completely different. Yeah,
so I've never done the toad, but 5-MeO, I've done synthesized 5-MeO.
Synthesized, yeah.
Yeah, and I had a shitload of it for like 5 years. But like at any given moment, we could do it. So like I freed a bunch of I had me and my whole like flock of everyone that knew me. If you showed up, I'm like, yo, you give me 10 minutes of your time.
Did you just say me and my hoes and then try to change it to my whole flock?
Yes, I try. Listen, allegedly, you know what I mean? Bro, listen, I was setting minds free. I was leading the charge. You know what I mean? I put the free and scot free. Like I'm telling you, bro. Like
trade go, baby.
DMT saved my life because I was
same. I would not be who I am.
I was a different type of person. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was I was
like where I am now.
Never had it. Never tried it.
Bro,
it alters your perception. It alters your perception.
No. Let me explain it. Hold on, because I don't want you to downplay weed alters your perception. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. By definition. So this is why I don't want you to listen. DMT is dimethyltryptamine. 5-MeO.
It is the exact chemical that you experience at birth.
By definition, sugar alters your perception. So relax.
That's what I'm saying. So your pineal gland produces a chemical component called tryptamine, right? So when you are smoking DMT, because you put it on some weed, or you can smoke it straight, whatever have you.
You can dab it.
This thing, it doesn't have a buildup. You go straight there. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It only lasts for like 10 or 20 minutes. You close your eyes and you see with your third eye. When you smoke, you're not tripping off of what you're smoking. What you're smoking is triggering a stockpile of DMT. Because every night when you go to sleep,
back in here.
Every night when you go to sleep, you get in you close your eyes, you get into REM state, rapid eye movement. Your pineal gland releases a little bit of melatonin. That's when you coast into sleep. Then your dreams, when you dream, it's literally a psychedelic trip by definition. Yep. And when you're dreaming, it's your brain, it's your pineal gland trickulating little doses of tryptophan, or tryptamine. I'm sorry. So this happens twice in your life naturally. When you're
once
a fetus,
at birth, once at death.
Yeah. but see,
it's a spirit molecule.
This is why a lot of people, like, say I get shot up, bam, 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 they shoot me up and they got the paddles clear, and they bring me back, and I'm like, yo, I seen the light and all that shit.
Wait, how did it get to you getting shot? I just wanted to know.
Because I'm trying to give an example of the only times you feel this naturally is when your body knows it's going to expire. Your brain will release a stockpile of tryptamine. You know what I'm saying? So DMT, it allows you to do this consciously. So I'm conscious
without
the melatonin. So you're literally smashing through space and time. You're literally.
So where do I get some of that?
Oh, we'll talk more. We'll talk a little later. You know what I mean? It's like
allegedly
in Orange County, bro. It's gonna be readily available.
I live in New Jersey now, so I'll give you an address.
Yeah, well, and you know what? Listen, DMT. All you gotta do is just find some of your psychedelic enthusiasts, and their guy will have it. I guarantee. Because this shit is.
Terence Mckenna has a great documentary on it. I know everyone's like, Joe Rogan. Terence McKenna has a really great documentary and a great study.
I don't listen or watch Joe Rogan for that very reason. It's not that I hate him. I don't have an issue with him. I think he's great, but I'm just over people like pumping him.
Terence McKenna is a world-renowned botanist, right? And like in the 70s and 80s, he used to go around speaking at seminars in colleges, and he was like a celebrity in the psychedelic communities. Because this dude,
see, that I'd be interested in, like that. I did.
So there's countless videos on YouTube where it's his seminars that he used to go around speaking, and people would come out, and he always had this saying. He said, "We're all carrying." Like, when people are like, yo, who got it? We all got it. Because it's all up here. You know what I mean? So it's DMT. So he went on a mission to find like the best edible versions of DMT. So he went into like South America, and he found, he's kind of one of the ones who put psilocybin mushroom like on like, the
on the map. Yeah,
on the map in Western civilization. Like he blew it up. There was a woman that he went and found. I forget her name. She was like a shaman. And like all the rock stars used to go to South America and find this woman, and they would eat psilocybin mushrooms, and she would do the little, you know what I mean, like Mick Jagger, the Beatles, like the list goes on. So aside from Terence McKenna in the college communities, now you had these rock stars making this shit famous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like once something like that, or even LSD, they just categorize it all as one. They don't compartmentalize them and like be like, okay, this does this does that. They just.
So why are we not talking about my homeboy Shulgin then, right?
Shulgin, what did he make famous?
Alexander Shulgin. He was the ecstasy guy. He was the MDMA guy.
Oh. He was the chemist.
I mean, from Berkeley, he was up in your zone right there.
Yep.
I mean,
he caught a Fed case
back in the '60s. I think he had people running experiments on MDMA.
And he would get government ordered.
And he was getting money from the government.
To make this shit, to synthesize it. So he would.
Shulgin was that dude, Alexander Shulgin. I'm pretty sure that the first time I remember really reading about him might have been in Playboy magazine. And I know that sounds weird, but I remember reading
it. That is weird, but yeah.
Well,
it's a Playboy magazine.
If you read what's in Playboy, there's some interesting shit. Because motherfuckers is looking at.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. I had a subscription to Playboy when I was a teenager. I definitely looked at the pictures.
Hey, you definitely gave away your age.
What's up?
Definitely gave away your age.
Playboy went.
43, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, Playboy's fucking, that shit is boss, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because
but Shulgin was that dude. Like, he was MDMA man. Like, he tested all that stuff out, different strains, different what. Like, yeah, he was one of those guys. Like, I mean, it was him. It was, Hunter S. Thompson that was always ripping LSD and shit. Like,
Hunter S. Thompson is a fucking madman. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that, kids.
Yo, there's a clip on YouTube where he's listing.
Oh, you're fine, sir.
Where he's he had wrote like a manuscript of like his daily drug usage, You know what I mean? It'd be like wake up in the morning, 9 o'clock.
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you seen that, right?
Yeah.
Just all throughout the day,
It
and
was
it'd
just
be like
cocaine,
cocaine,
MDMA,
Chivas
I'm gonna
Regal
throw a couple of eggs in here.
Yep. Mimosas, and then it'd be like
why
all
the fuck
this,
you so casual with this shit? Like,
bro. And then it would get to like 9. It'd be like 7 o'clock p.m. Seriously, start using cocaine. So like he's like using it all day, and then he'd be like, all right, now we're kicking it into gear. You know what I mean? Like this motherfucker was like, but see,
a bunch of shit.
You know what's crazy is I do want to get into like the relationship between drugs and art, because like he was a journalist, he was a writer, so that was his art. So he would get on and write.
Well,
you know
William Shakespeare was a morphine addict.
Exactly. I mean, look at there's whole genres of music. In the 60s, it was all heroin induced and influenced music.
That was his thing.
LSD
He would do cocaine like all day, right?
Yeah.
And then he would start drinking at like lunchtime.
Yep.
And then he would do coke again, and then by like midnight he would be ready to write.
Yep.
And then he would write till like 4 in the morning, and then start it all over again.
Yep. And like, back then too, things were available. You know what I'm saying? So like, he had, you're at your own devices.
If you were Hunter S. Thompson,
Fuck yeah.
like shit was available, dude.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When you're famous, period. I mean, look at all the famous bands. I mean, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, fucking Ozzy was on some shit. Ozzy was fucked.
The hair bands, like you said, like the hair
Ozzy
bands,
and
like
Black Sabbath, they said that they spent
LSD.
more money on cocaine while recording albums than they did to actually get the albums made.
Think about this. In the 60s.
Think about how much it takes to make a record.
Yeah, a lot of money.
They spent more on cocaine than it took to make the record that they were making while fucking ripping lines of cocaine.
Yeah, like so.
They were
in
fucking
the
insane.
60s, in the 60s, you had a lot of heroin-induced music, a lot of Then you had the hippie music, a lot of psychedelic influenced music.
All your psychedelic music, Jimi Hendrix, Grateful Dead, all that shit.
In the 70s, that was when the heroin music really kicked it into gear, like Harlem. You had a lot of the soul bands.
Early 70s,
right?
Very fucking heroin.
When you get into the 80s, you had new wave, you had punk rock. A lot of this shit is cocaine induced. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot. The start of like electronic music, because you had raves.
The raves.
That was the MDMA influenced music. You know what I'm saying? Then you go to the early 90s, the Chronic album, like this. Now it's like
that's when it was all about smoking weed, drinking 40s.
You know what I mean? Then you got into the late 90s, you started seeing
bitches.
Yeah, rappers started getting a lot into ecstasy, like in the late 90s, and like you know what I mean, like.
I don't condone it. I'm just saying that's what it was about.
Yeah, that was said on a lot of hip hop records. Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like it was a lot of, you know what I mean. Like the art directly relates to a lot of the substance of choice. You know what I mean. So, that's one thing that I feel like art, and most artists are troubled people too. They have things going on.
They all have a messed up past.
Yeah, or just a complicated person in general.
Yeah. You know what I mean? When the 2000s came, that's when it was like, holy shit, Pharma's here, because then it was like Texas came up.
Emo. That's when emo level hit.
Yeah.
Everybody.
No, 2000. I'll first start off 2000s when the South started to rise, and like they down south, like everybody.
I was talking about Panic.
Yeah, but this was.
I'm not even gonna go there yet. Yeah, the lean era.
Promethazine goes way back though. And even in hip hop, we're talking about Houston put that shit on the map like in the early 90s.
That's always been their thing. But when that became on the TV screen for like America to see, like then like that shit like hit the suburbs.
That's liquid heroin. It's an opiate.
Yep, and then that's when we started getting into then the emo music started coming in. From the rock side and the alternative side of things.
That's Panic at the Disco and
fucking
Fall Out Boy, all the sad
My Chemical Romance.
Yeah,
that motherfucker hours. Yeah,
that's when the Depression era came in. Right? But look, we say that, right? We say that it was 2000s, but let's take a step back, right? Let's go back 30 years.
Yeah.
When did fucking grunge music started? In the late 80s, early 90s.
They brought back
And
heroin.
it really ended in the mid 90s when Kurt Cobain
yeah, bro. Oh,
so when he got murdered in the mid 90s because
he got
Courtney
murdered.
Love, we all know Courtney Love.
Courtney Love.
She's
well,
but
she did
so that's no different than the emo era that we had in 2010. Like
no,
that
it's not
emo music back then. So it's all cyclical, right?
It is.
It keeps coming back.
And that's the thing, and that's one of the things where also it's we have to acknowledge that this is something that is a fabric of our culture because it is in our art, it is in our music. Van Gogh, he did tons and tons and tons of drugs as well. This isn't something that's new. This isn't something that's just because of music. This is something that
we can talk about whatever era. Like you can talk about.
We can talk about actors. We can talk about actors.
Fashion is cyclical too, right? Like I remember bell bottoms came back in the 90s when I was in fucking school, right? That were there in the 70s. Like that shit keeps coming back. Like it's whatever era, whatever genre you're talking about. Shit is pretty cyclical. Like it definitely comes back.
Yep,
it's not just. I just don't want to talk about the negative fucking emo era of music. Like whatever it is, that shit will come back.
Yeah, I mean it's coming back now. Like you have artists, in terms of now there's this new era of hip hop called rock, like trap rock, or metal or metal trap, trap metal, where there's these dudes that it's like, oh shit, like. That emo era a couple years ago really influenced these. Now kids are like 21, 22, 23.
Look at somebody like Juice WRLD, bro. Like he was a depressed kid. His music is all about drug usage and being depressed and being like a loner, and you know what I mean. Like then he goes out, blaze of glory, ODing, and like so he is like a martyr for those kids, like. The young kids, they look at him like the same way we looked at Tupac. For real. Like, it's kind of crazy. I don't like comparing Juice WRLD to Tupac, but that's how he's perceived for his generation. You know what I mean? Like
for his generation. I mean, that's the way they look at it.
Same thing with Kurt Cobain. You know what I mean? Here's the thing, man. Like, a lot of those guys that die young, a lot of the artists that die young because of drugs, we don't get to see them grow old and maybe perhaps outgrow the addiction.
Those demons, yeah,
like because they were kind of destined to, like for instance, Courtney Love got away with murder because the romance of him, being so depressed and committing suicide. People loved that. They bought into that. Right. They bought into it because it was reflected through his music. So it was like she'd be like, it was an easy out. I could kill him and hide it. But you know what I'm saying? But no one ever looks at like, okay. It was the addiction to heroin. You know what I'm saying? And he a whole genre. I mean, look at the other dudes. Stone Temple Pilots. That dude, he's a product of Kurt Cobain. That motherfucker OD'd. The dude from Soundgarden and I can't. Dave something. I forget his name, dude.
Dave Navarro.
Dave Navarro. There, you know what I mean? Like,
Dave Navarro he's still here, but he did OD like.
Okay, wait, hold on. No.
Not the drummer.
Dave Navarro was the leader of the drummer from Nirvana, lead singer of Foo Fighters. I'm sorry, not him. I'm talking about the lead singer of Soundgarden. Then he was also.
No, he wasn't the leader singer of Foo Fighters. That was David Grohl.
David Grohl. Okay, so Navarro. Yeah, didn't Navarro die, bro? He OD'd,
no,
bro.
I don't think Navarro died.
Committed suicide. I mean,
this is what we need, Jimmo.
Yeah, Jimmo would know. Either way, my point is, you know what I'm saying? Like, some addictions that are dark is, it's obviously, it's fueled by something, you know what I mean?
Of all times for me to take a piss, it's when two brothers are trying to talk about white dudes, right?
I know,
yeah. Hey, need your help.
Who was the dude?
You were talking about Chris Cornell.
Soundgarden. Thank you.
Damn it.
Yes. There
Kurt Cobain definitely got killed by his wife.
Yep.
She had something to do with it. I don't know if she did the killing.
There goes Miles. Miles like, no, I'm thinking of Chris Cornell.
Yes,
Chris Cornell is honestly the best musician of the grunge era.
Fuck yeah. Soundgarden was my shit.
Honest to God, there was nobody that sounds better
And Radiohead was dope too, right? That was the
you
name
guys,
of the second
whoever's
band?
listening right now, if you Google "Nothing Compares to You" by Chris Cornell, and you don't have tears coming out of your eyes halfway through the song, then you're already dead on the inside.
It's crazy because if you listen
Don't
to the
do
lyrics of
that
that
to
song,
me.
you could consider him talking about actual heroin in that song. Like if you know what I mean, like you could perceive it like he's talking about a woman, but like you could also perceive, it's subjective. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, bro, like that's a strong motherfucker. That's why these kids is dying from the lean so tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you got someone like
But that's
Lil
because
Wayne or you know what I mean?
that's because and I find it so ironic when Juicy J was like, I think it was like last year, in like a magazine. I think it was like with Complex.
He said he don't even drink lean no more.
No, it wasn't that. That was
okay.
forever ago. He said if
Oh, yeah, that's right.
if I ever influence anyone to do drugs, I apologize. It's like, nigga, too late. Like you've already done it. Like what? Like you literally have a song that goes the blow, the weed, the yeah, the herb, the blow, the weed, the yeah. Like it literally
The shopping
goes.
list.
That is the hook. That is literally the hook. Like you've already done your damage. You can't apologize now. Fucking asshole.
I think these some of these drugs that we talked about, like like MDMA or DMT,
They could probably be
or
used as
psilocybin.
so.
I feel like as long as you don't have a fuck shit connect that's giving you like bad product. You know what I mean? Like these are some experiences that you might, even if you don't like, if it's not your cup of tea after.
So then,
know
what
I
do you
mean?
think
Like,
about wrong? I have a better one for you.
Well, that's what it's all about, though. Even when
yeah,
you're
it's a
getting
bucket
smoked,
list.
though. Like if you're not getting smoke from a dispensary, you got to hope that your shit is janky. And I'm going to speak on experience, right?
Yeah.
I just moved back here from California and was getting stuff from my homie, which was okay for stuff here, but it was still garbage.
Yeah, because
right?
we're spoiled.
Fuck.
We're spoiled from where we're at.
And then I got a friend that hit me up with a Philly dispensary fucking stuff that was 20 times better than the garbage. And I was like, so yeah, it's all about where you get it from, for sure, regardless of what it is.
So here's what I was gonna say. Here's what I was gonna say. Here's what I was gonna say. Now we add on to tonight's conversation. The city of Portland, they pretty much said, "Fuck it, we're gonna just kind of legalize all." We more so want to try to they have restrictions on shit. But
like, okay, hold on. Let's get specific. What's the list of things they're legalizing over there?
Fuck, you're making me. All right, so like I think it's like if you have
because when you say it all, like I'm talking like they're not gonna do that.
Look,
with
they didn't legalize everything.
They decriminalized.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit different. It just means that I guess you can't get in trouble for it.
You can't go to jail. You just get a ticket that you pay for. That's
exactly.
It becomes
so
like an
you're
it's like an infraction.
To it.
So
if you're cool with getting a slap on the wrist, then go ahead.
Yeah, you'll pay a ticket, and then like if you get caught the second, like
even cannabis is legal there, right? So like for you to have mushrooms and get caught with mushrooms, like you got to be doing dumb shit. You shouldn't be walking around with a whole bunch of mushrooms.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
The measure makes it a non-criminal violation, similar to a traffic ticket, to possess.
See, like I said, an infraction.
To possess the following: less than 1 gram of heroin.
Wow, that's just a ticket.
Less than 1 gram.
1 gram of what?
Heroin.
Less
than 1 gram or less than 5 pills of MDMA. Less than 2 grams of methamphetamine.
Because 5 pills would be like a gram, basically.
Less than 40 units of LSD. Less than 12 grams of psilocybin. Less than 40 units of methadone. Less than 40 pills of oxycodone. Less than 2 grains of cocaine. Sorry.
Yeah.
The measurement reduces from a felony to a misdemeanor simple possession of substance containing 1 to 3 grams of 1 to 3 grams of heroin, 1 to 4 grams of MDMA, 2 to 8 grams of methamphetamine, and 2 to 8 grams of cocaine.
That's crazy because like you could have that could be your party kit right there. That whole list.
He said that could be your party kit right
as
there.
long as you have everything underneath the fucking, you know what I mean? Like, because listen, you get popped, they can't even. I mean, I'd imagine they might take your stuff still, but like you know, you're not going to jail like back in the days. You know what I mean?
Look, if
Like,
you did something stupid to get popped with that, you deserve to get in trouble.
Yeah, for real. Like,
you should have been driving 10 and 2 and making sure
and
you
it
were
really
not.
is.
Exactly.
No
Yeah.
you rolled through a stop sign with that shit in your car. Come
It
on.
really is the idiots
Yo.
too. Like, there's always gonna be one idiot that does something crazy that
But
just
here's my
fucking
thing.
makes it all look bad. You know what I mean?
Here's my thing. Okay. Did you solve a problem? Or did you encourage it?
No.
Like,
No.
Okay.
And maybe
That's what I felt.
that's
That's what I
TBD.
felt.
Solve is
I don't
TBD.
think that
Yeah,
I don't
to be
think
determined.
that change in regulation is going to make any more people do anything different.
The first thing that they look
Yeah,
at,
like I don't think that some lawyer in fucking Portland is gonna be like, oh shit, like I could suddenly have this now, like let me go fucking do that today. Like I don't think that's gonna I don't think
when
that's
you
gonna happen.
All you're
decriminalize,
doing is lightening the caseload and limiting bullshit fucking tickets or arrests.
when you
That's
and incarcerations, honestly.
Yeah.
but also too, you know what I'm saying? Like if they can find it's the same way, like I said, like a traffic ticket, it's an infraction. So they want to squeeze any kind of bread up out of it because it actually costs them, you know, it's gonna cost them more money to incarcerate, like you said, like these motherfuckers over little shit. Like back in the days in Vegas.
America.
Okay, go ahead.
That's what I try to do on a regular basis.
I'm like, that's not what we're
Do you
doing
think
all the time.
all right, so
What are you waiting for?
So Eddie Griffin used to always say, you know, there are certain drugs that we do in the hood, like that you know, brothers do in the hood that
Yeah,
you know.
and then there's white people shit.
Yeah, there's. Do you think that there was a certain number of fucking arrests and a certain number of cases and shit that just started piling up and skyrocketing, where it's like, all right, we need to now level the fucking playing field. Chad keeps getting caught the fuck up.
Okay, Scripps. Look at Scripps. That was a suburban thing. You know what I mean? Like growing up in the hood, we had weed, we had everything super illegal, and then you look at the white kids that was growing up, they were on Scripps. You know what I mean? And then it wasn't until the opiate problem really hit, you know, suburban America in this past 10 years, you know what I'm saying? It really hit suburban America where now they're like, okay, this is a problem here. You know what I'm saying? They weren't stepping in when it was the crack era. You know what I mean? They weren't stepping in, you know what I mean? Like now it's a problem.
No, crack was designed to get black people arrested. Let's not fuck that.
It was.
Let's not just eliminate that. I mean,
I'm just saying, you know, I'm saying like, you know, you had the level of
but
out.
That's a fair statement that you made. Look, what they did. They call it the war on drugs when it became a crack thing, right?
Yeah.
And then when white people in middle America were becoming addicted to meth, it became a meth problem.
It became a meth problem, yeah.
It became a problem, not a war. Like let's not be fucking ridiculous. Like crack was designed to arrest black people.
I got kicked out. So I got kicked out of a history class because I did report on Ronald Reagan. And well, yeah, I explained how fucking guns and drugs ended up in our goddamn country.
Yeah. And how his wife infiltrated the schools just to make white fucking parents scared of drugs. Yeah.
Drugs,
The DARE program. Yeah.
No, it was just say no.
Yeah,
just say no. Yeah, it was just say no.
It was even before the DARE program, I think.
Yeah.
And here's my thing. And here's my
thing. The DARE
thing.
program was a fucking scam too. That just taught me
red
about
ribbons.
drugs.
And here's my thing. You know, like one of the biggest, you know, my relationship with my mom now. So me and my mom, we have had multiple therapeutic psychedelic sessions together. Awesome. And those psychedelic sessions
I have those same sessions with you guys every Friday on After Dark.
This is different. Because like shit wasn't always good, like growing up, like, you know, and I used to harbor like a lot of fucking anger. Like I used to
Used to?
I used to be a very, very angry person. Typical story of angry black male in America. Like honestly, and when I got older, I want to say around like 24, 25. Me and we just had kind of sat down, and I was like, hey, this has kind of been helping me out, and she's like, how come you've been calming down a lot? You're not as angry. It seems like you're finding yourself. I was like, honestly, like I've been, every 3 months I've been going on trips. Like I'd go out to the country. Back then I was living in Virginia. I'd go out to the fucking country and sit there and just lay in the field and
That's
just
dope.
trip.
So this ain't this recently.
Yeah.
That's dope.
My experiences with psychedelics are definitely between like from like age like 23 to like now. Yeah, because I'll be 30 in June. First time I ever did psychedelics, I was like 23. But yeah, no, like I got closer to my mom, like overcame, I'll go ahead and talk about it on air, like overcame like a lot of like trauma, like overcame like fucking like abuse, like depression, like, seeing my little brother, like, damn near like, harm himself, and thank God he's still here. But it really helped me find who I was, and get closer to that person, and kind of forgive. It's different. Like I don't think that there would have been anything else that could have helped me really deal with, and I'm gonna call it what it is, those demons. Demons like that. And I think that's why I do say it depends on who you are. I'm not going to say that the same experiences that I have or the same experiences that Bogart has, hell, like even when it comes to fucking marijuana, like, the same experience that Stoner has, like the three of us have, like you're going to have, just like the same experiences that, with the fucking Xanax, like, or something like that, a suburban mom may have, like, we're not going to have that experience where they're like, oh, no, fuck that. Like, no, like, we don't want that, I guess it goes to learn your body, learn yourself, and kind of, if you feel yourself becoming addicted to anything, like get help.
I do have a problem with America like making laws on what we can put in our own bodies though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying? That's, like when you go get a job,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna check your piss, right? Like,
yeah,
what if I'm a fucking genius and I'm qualified, but hey, I might have had like a mushroom binge over the weekend. It's all in my piss. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get this job now, right? But
yeah.
what if a state away, like, or like in this case California, where it's legal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm curious to see how that's how they're gonna address these things now. Like, or are people still like people that smoke weed in where the state says legalized.
Like,
What happens if you piss dirty? Like, I'm wondering if there's still some some real thin lines here. You know what I mean? Like, like a thin line.
There's definitely barriers that have to be crossed in the conversation. Because I mean, you do have to take people's well-being and people's addiction into mind. Not everyone is as open to the thought process of there's some things that my body will accept, and there's some things that my body won't accept. If I take this could possibly ruin my life. But hey, there are some people that they need this to save their life.
See, I think the ones that when you say ruin your
think
life, those are
hold
the
on.
ones that
The
shouldn't be
problem
doing
with what
certain
you
drugs.
just said, Robbie,
Yeah.
people needing that shit to like save their lives is the people that are stuck taking those pharmaceuticals are so scared to get off of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, why don't you try this? And they're
because there's something like the government, something that people are they assume
They're-
you could trust. That are like, okay, these things are legal. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, no,
Yeah.
those things destroy your kidneys, your livers. You know what I mean? You suffer from crazy withdrawals. Like that.
It's the white coat. It's the white coat syndrome too. You got a guy in a white coat telling you like, "Hey, this is what you need."
You know,
but he's only telling you that because the other industries are.
I do believe that we are entering a more holistic society. Like, as much as it pisses a lot of us off, like especially those of us that are meat eaters, there are people out there that are like, no, I'm going vegan.
I disagree with the
hang
holistic
on.
shit.
No, hear me out.
I don't even take Motrin, bro.
Yeah, see, exactly. Yeah, I don't like ibuprofens and shit like that. Like, I don't like that. You know,
Holistic as in more natural,
like exactly.
natural treatments, medicines. Okay, because when I hear holistic, I'm thinking about those crazy fucks that put like stones and crystals on their body and like, you know what I mean? Like,
no. I mean, but even still, that is a different level of spirituality. I would never knock anyone for
I'm not either. But okay, I thought that's where you're going. Right? Okay.
You know.
Okay.
For me, when I say natural or holistic, it's more not taking pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
That's my, like, for me, natural, smoking weed.
But what I'm saying is, we're witnessing it, and we can point out in multiple different scenarios, whether it's, the amount of more gym conscious people that we have. There are far more people that are more conscious about.
I started going to the gym in the past week. Did I say that? 5 out of 70 days a week, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, Miles, he's been back on, a diet. We can point it out in multiple different ways.
Ugly as fuck, though. He needs to go to the gym.
Hell no, I love him. That's my brother, man. But no, fucking, we have we have so many different examples that point out to where we are now tapping into a different level of consciousness. As human beings. We're tapping into a different thought process and a different level of thinking. And it's happening right now in such a level to where it's happening kind of with all of us. And those that aren't
there's also a balance. There's a balance to that, because on the opposite side you have like the narrow-minded, Trump extremists, shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? And like a lot of the Trump extremists, there's closet Trump extremists that are in power that might not act like they technically support that shit, but you know what I mean? Like, bro, anything big biz is always gonna, dictate, what's going on. You know what I mean? Anything that's making a lot of money. And like I'm telling you, with the way marijuana and CBD and the way
that stuff is becoming big business. Yeah, you do. All right.
Exactly. So like we are seeing a change.
It's not federally legal, though.
Exactly.
You mentioned, because the pharmaceutical big pharma has their money in the pockets of politicians.
So I can drop a link right now to Robinhood. Robinhood is an app where you are able to download stocks. When you share your Robinhood link and people click on your link,
throw you a free stock.
They give you a free stock. Guess what you're able to get on Robinhood? Marijuana stocks.
Yeah, there's also websites you can go to and just straight up buy weed stock. Like,
but I bring up, but I use that example because that's an example that everyone has on their phone. Like, that's why I went direct for that one. But yeah, you're right.
No, I see that shit on Instagram all the time because I follow a bunch of little weed spots or a bunch of little weed influencers. I'm always getting hit with ads for invest in cannabis, buy weed stock. And I'm like, nah, if I'm buying in weed stock, like, you want to invest in cannabis?
Back in my day, investing in cannabis meant like picking up a couple pounds, you know what I'm saying?
$2,000 for me to fill out an application to own a dispensary here in New Jersey now that it's legal. And once my shit gets certified, it'll be another $18,000 to pay for the licensing. If you really want to donate, that's where you donate. I'm making that shit happen.
There you go. But like, and see, that's what I'm saying. But that is proof of the generation that we are moving forward in.
So the amount Jersey of coming around yet? Like,
they're coming around.
That's dope. What about New York City?
DC was the first one on the East Coast to really get it popping.
Jersey voted it legal this past year, so it'll probably be 2021-ish. Maybe mid-year when it finally takes in. But I'm on a list to get notified when the application's open so I can submit mine.
Nice.
But I mean, like we're in a society where
I got distributors that are backing that shit too from Cali. Like I ain't paying for that shit at all. I'm gonna be the fucking ugly ass face of the franchise.
You're gonna be the face of the
there you go,
franchise.
exactly. Yeah, dude, make the work easy on yourself. But no, we're in a very progressive time period right now, to where for us to even be having this conversation, we would not be able to have this conversation 10, 15, 20 years ago. Like, let's face it, like people weren't having.
Even 2 years ago, it was a different conversation.
Even 2 years, completely different conversation. And now we're having these conversations where it's like, no, now we can really push the envelope as a society, and now we can really, tap into our capabilities. We always have this dream of having a utopia, but we're never gonna have a utopia because big business is still involved. Well, the next best thing that we can do is kind of try and find a balance where it's like, well, give me the civil liberty to just certain things that is like move and finagle how the hell ever I need. I feel like that make businesses off of this. Like if you're going to, you should have been thought about this. Like we shouldn't be behind the curve. Amsterdam should have never been way ahead of us. We should be just now in the baby steps.
Here's the thing. I love that you bring that up because Amsterdam was a place that was never riddled with crime, neither. And maybe it's because they did legalize these things and mind you can't just walk around smoking weed in Amsterdam. You'll get a ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to be in these designated areas, the cafes, etc. Right?
We got full cities over in Europe that are all crypto, bro.
I know, but here's my point: is like in America, it's crime. And crime is driven by these illegal substances. Like you're never going to legalize cocaine, but then you're also
you're never going to do that.
You're never going to stop the cartels from flooding America with cocaine. You know what I mean?
But I can legalize weed. I can legalize weed, and people that would probably use that shit would be like, you know what? Now they have legal weed.
But hold on. But even just to touch on that, even in the state of California, that shit's legal. But in a city like Huntington Beach, they did whatever they could to make sure that there were 0 dispensaries open in Huntington Beach. So, I mean, even in your states where the shit is legal, it still boils down to
your local,
But at the same time, at no point will me taking a walk around the city, smoking a blunt, doing whatever, at no point did somebody stop me and tell me I was doing something wrong. Yeah. The neighbors never called the cops on me.
You know what's funny? 2019 November, I'm in Hawaii, and in our hotel, I was on the 2nd floor, so I'm on the balcony like every day smoking weed, right? And then, at one point, it was a non-smoking room, and then maids would come in and clean your shit, and like they said, they were sweeping up a bunch of ashes on the balcony, so they gave me a warning. They said, listen, we're gonna charge you if you keep smoking. So then I said, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna walk downstairs. I smoke on the sidewalk. And bro, the amount of like tourists that would be walking by and they would give me the looks and they'd be like, oh, they ain't from Cali or Denver, or they'd be like, whoa, they were looking at me like shocked as hell. I'm just smoking weed hella freely, you know what I mean? But I'm from Cali, we're in Hawaii, you know what I mean? I'm sorry if you're from Connecticut and go across the street then. Don't walk, you know what I mean? Like there's still that stigma, and it would just made me laugh because, before, as a kid, we'd be in the movie theaters. We're gonna smoke weed before we go in the movie. We're ducked between little cars in the fucking parking lot. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely, like people are gonna smell it.
Yeah, like you laugh at the little things we used to do, and then now, like when you lift that, you lift something like it being illegal or you decriminalize it, then you start you don't do criminal activity to acquire these things. You don't do now if you have a pound of weed and the market value is so low on it, maybe someone's not trying to stick you up for it now because they know they can just, you can go get it at the dispensary. You know what I mean? Like once you start making things legal, it takes away that criminal aspect of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's why prohibition was, that's why the mobsters won. You're gonna take away alcohol, cool, because now we can sell that shit for more.
Bro, lucky Luciano, if you took his riches. And equated it to today, it would be the equivalent of like Bill Gates times 5. how much money he made, and a majority of that was made through prohibition.
Hey, fellas, really quick, you guys down to run for 30 more?
I'm still rocking. You know what I mean? I'm probably.
I'll give you 30. I'll do a music video, and we can do 30 more.
Okay, I mean, it's midnight here, so you're gonna get me for as long as I'm ready.
Okay, cool.
For as long as I can.
I do want to say this.
I'm in Jersey, baby.
Because we're gonna. Oh, how about this? When we come back from this break, we're gonna really answer this question. Like, you know,
we're gonna really answer this question, and then we're gonna sign out.
Yeah. How long is the music video?
Like 2 minutes.
2 minutes. We're gonna pull up. We're gonna do pull up.
I'm gonna go smoke some legal drugs right now. Legal.
Exactly. Yeah. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Here on the Rum Boys Fans Network. It's a show about nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. I just left the club and I'm hella fucked up. Uber on the way, girl, I'm about to pull up. I'm about to pull up. Have that pussy on wet, I'm about to pull up. I just left the club and I'm hella fucked up. Uber on the way, girl, I'm about to pull up. I'm about to pull up. Have that pussy on wet, I'm about to pull up. Yeah, I'm finna smash. She gon' finish first, I'ma finish last. I'm such a gentleman when we get it in. That pussy the gold, no killer win. Then I'm in a win in the morning, yeah. Hit you in the AM when I'm on, baby. Said that you ready, gotta show me, baby. Beat that thing up like it on me, baby. Been thinking about it since I ran through it. Yeah. On my brain like a brain tumor. Yeah. She rock the mic, she sang to me. Uber on the way, yeah, I'm finna slide. I just left the club and I'm hella fucked up. Uber on the way, girl, I'm about to pull up. I'm about to pull up. Have that pussy on wet, I'm about to pull up. I just left the club and I'm hella fucked up. Uber on the way, girl, I'm about to pull up. I'm about to pull up. Have that pussy on wet, I'm about to pull up. I know, you've been wanting it. Between your thighs, I'll be diving in. And in the morning, you smiling. All of your neighbors listening when we get it in. Ooh, you know just how I like it, baby. Different positions, always willing to try it, baby. We bout to blow up the spot. Yeah, I had a few shots, so baby, ready or not, I'm about to pull up. I just left the club and I'm hella fucked up. Uber on the way, girl, I'm about to pull up. I'm about to pull up. Have that pussy on wet, I'm about to pull up. I just left the club and I'm hella fucked up. Uber on the way, girl, I'm about to pull up. I'm about to pull up. Have that pussy on wet, I'm about to pull up.
Pull up, girl, let the fun, pull up, when I pull up.
Drugs are bad.
Copy with drugs are bad.
Okay.
It's a show about nothing, and tonight we are discussing
nothing.
Are there good drugs or are there bad drugs? And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get right into the question. That was our song of the evening, by the way. Pull up by Bogart Scott Free. I'm probably gonna put that joint on the TikTok. Like I might get smooth for the bitches. I'm like,
you feel me?
Might have to put the rain effect of my shirt on me and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Real drippy.
Real drippy.
Yeah,
Pull up, pull up. Let's go ahead and answer this question. So Bogart, I'll let you start off. Is there really like a such thing? Like,
yes, there's definitely such thing as bad drugs, like
yeah,
fentanyl, and like fentanyl specifically is destroying a lot of the street drugs because now people are cutting them off. People are cutting the Molly with it. People are cutting they're cutting the coke with it. They're cutting, people are ODing because of this shit, and because fentanyl is readily available, people are synthesizing it. Like it's big businesses pumping it into America. On top of that's one of the biggest trades for the cartels now. So there is definitely drug wars going on about it. You know what I mean? Like fentanyl is terrible. That's bad. You know what I mean? Good drugs like marijuana, like medicinal marijuana, CBD. You know what I mean? These are things that are beneficial for society. Even what I mean? Like even looking for something that we love. We're fantasy analysts. We don't want our athletes on opiates. Because they're injured. Like why isn't NFL looking into the usage of CBDs? Why isn't what I mean? Like, and it's because it all goes back to big business.
big pharma, yeah.
You know what I mean? And one day, what I'm saying, maybe in our lifetime we will see the regulation on a lot of these drugs that were considered or labeled Schedule 1. You know what I mean? Like DMT. Like, man, DMT is fucking phenomenal. Like, you know what I mean? Like that shit changed my life. It made me want to be a better person. You know what I mean?
It really did.
I came from the underworld. It made me look around me and be like, well, this shit is kind of crazy. That I'm involved in certain shit, and I really just want to live life. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's the one thing that people turn to certain drugs or substances because they
want to escape. Yeah,
they want to escape the quality of life that they have. Which is bad. And I feel like
rich people. Yeah. And like that's what people fail to realize. They tend to look at it as like only like a smaller portion of America thing. And it's like, did you watch The Wolf on fucking Wall Street?
Yeah, I mean, and these are people that are involved in think about this in the '90s when Jordan Belfort was running around. Obviously they were doing other things like scamming, the stock market and stuff like that. But they was partying their ass off. And if you think about it, this is Wall Street. Wall Street's fueled by cocaine and money. And like, so these are people that are essentially, hands-on in our economy and they're on drugs. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's the negative connotation.
I find it hard to believe that we're ever going to see the NFL allow some shit like that go down.
It's
going to be a long time until cannabis is federally legalized, right? Until that day, you're not going to see a league that cares more about the shield and the reputation that precedes it.
Yeah, you're not going to see that ever.
Players that actually make them the money.
Baseball came around, right? Did baseball come around? Right.
I think hockey is going to be closer. The NBA is not testing, and the NFL says whatever they say about it, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, you just suspended Josh Gordon for substance abuse, right? So
they sure did.
Who knows what the fuck they're doing? You have 31 Caucasian owners and one brown dude that thinks he's white. So
Con?
Yeah.
Con.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's CON. Right? So at the end of the day, they give a shit more about the shield and what it represents. Like, I was angry that Bon Jovi was at Joe Biden's inauguration today when a week ago he was wearing a New England Patriots suit and kicking it with Robert Kraft, right? Like,
yeah. Because
that seems like two different sides of the field.
Both sides of the fence, yeah.
And I'm a Jersey guy who grew up
living on a prayer.
It sounded like he's living on both sides of that prayer, and that's bullshit for me. Like, nah, don't do that. Like, I just don't see the NFL allowing it, even though it's way better than Toradol and all that other bullshit that they used to.
Do you remember Legion of Boom? So early Legion of Boom, they were all on Adderall. You know, acute vision. They're real sharp on the field, picking everything off. And like then they had to figure that into the list of things that consider PEDs. You know what I mean? So what happened for the person that was actually subscribed Adderall because they might have had ADHD, and it's like, listen, now you can't play because you're gonna pee dirty. You know what I mean? Like,
and now Cam Cancer's all fucked up. Like,
right? No, real. This is real though. You know what I mean? Like,
but hell yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be benefits, but in order to get to the what we can consider beneficial, you have to do these trials. You know what I mean? And like, unfortunately, you know, you're never going to click when you're looking at something to click on online. You're not going to click on the wonder drug. You're going to click on the story about the kid who did some crazy shit on LSD, or you know what I mean, like.
You're gonna find the bad. You're always gonna click on the negative.
The negative's gonna get more attention.
Man that got some bad math and ate somebody's face.
Exactly. Yeah. Or the bath salt guy, or the you know what I mean? Like,
you're always gonna click on. You're always gonna go and look for the negative. You're never gonna look for.
There are bad drugs. Don't smoke meth.
Yeah, like CBD.
Don't do that.
Yeah, meth is terrible. Meth is terrible.
Crack.
Yeah,
but if you want to eat some mushrooms, like go for that.
And just don't do crazy shit like eat a bunch of mushrooms and be tripping balls and then go decide to drive your car. Like, you know,
everything in moderation, man.
Everything in moderation.
And in a right setting too. You know what I mean? Like
in a right setting.
And like, like the psychedelics.
Don't do shit in trap houses. Don't go to trap houses. Don't do things in the hood. Okay? If you have to go to the hood to get it, you don't need it. All right? Don't do things at raves. All right? Because you don't know where the fuck they're coming from. Too many goddamn hands. All right? But if it's just you, your lady, okay, the kids are gone, and you're like, babe, these brownies though. Babe, these bag of shrooms though.
Let's hit this MDMA real quick.
Right?
Yep, exactly.
Let's put some spice in our life. You know
let's put some spice in our life and hit the
eat this ecstasy and then eat each other. That's
exactly. You know, exactly.
Sounds like good dinner.
I got these blue dolphins. I've been waiting on that ass. Like, you know,
the white Jordans were always the best. Are you kidding me?
White Jordans, white Nikes.
The white Jordans with the brown spectacles. Oh God, I'm grinding my teeth thinking about it. Good God.
You know what's crazy? One thing that became popular in the past about 6 years now, because that was the first time I ever came across it. But they're called Euros. So Euros is pure MDMA, made popular in Europe. But and they're like the equivalent to like they're you know, they had double stacks. These are like quadruple stacked.
Holy fuck!
And like, bro,
but hold on. Do I gotta step back before I pop them?
What's up?
Do I gotta slide back before I shoot them?
Listen, man.
I'll take one of those right now if you got them.
Euros are phenomenal, bro. Like, and one thing that was great about Euros is like
I got something on Tinder. I've been waiting to get it. It's like
because anything that's you find on the streets, they're gonna get it pure and they're gonna cut it down for you know to make more money off of it. And when you're cutting it down, now you're
stepping on it. For those that don't know, they're gonna step on that shit.
Yeah,
a lot.
And now now it's a cocktail versus something that's something that was pure. You know what I mean? And like that's where the lines get blurred.
They'll make 20 out of a quadruple stack.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And like they'll use something that's very affordable and available, like fentanyl, and like a motherfucker could die off that shit.
Baby powder, like
baby laxative, even like
my shitty
cocaine is
club.
Cocaine is cut. The most common thing they use as a cutting agent for coke is laxatives. You know what I mean? So
baby laxative.
You know what I'm saying? Because real pure cocaine, it looks like baby powder. It's not rocked up where you gotta chop it down. You know what I mean? Like
For anyone that would like to know, I did work in the military. Okay, and my job was to make sure that these things didn't happen. That's how I know these things. And I also used to live in Southeast DC. I used to live in Los Angeles. So
I've done a lot of drugs. That's why I know these things.
I've done a lot of shit.
Yes,
a lot of shit. The military, when you're not allowed to smoke weed, they get you go out and you just do shit. How quick is this going to be out of my system? That test. I got deployment anyways. I'm trying to have my.
They put vodka
Like I feel like if we have receptors for something, like we have naturally in our body, we have cannabinoid receptors. We are meant to consume cannabis.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
we're also meant to consume DMT, like we mentioned before.
Exactly. So I feel like that could be a starting point. Like, okay, things that.
Well, that is the starting point. If you look at any scientific research, yes, that is the starting point. It's the fact that holy shit, we have so I think that us as a society and especially pharma, and this is where pharma is now realizing that they're losing. We have always searched for the prehistoric plant that will be the cure all and end all. We haven't found that.
I already found it. No bullshit. I found it.
I mean, we found it, but like we're not.
Her name is Mary Jane.
Yes.
We're not taking it serious, right? So check it out. Okay. We have found we know this existed. We know this has been here forever. I think that now we have to come to grips that holy shit, there has to be something more that is bigger, badder, and better than us as humans. And bigger, better than humans. We'll get into this conversation when it comes to next week when we talk about things like AI and things like that. Things advanced past humans.
Let me reel it back for a second. You know what I find interesting, right? People that when you want to eat healthy food, right? You want to eat stuff that's from the earth. You want to eat plants. You want to eat vegetables.
But you won't smoke a joint.
Eat fruits, right? But and the FDA is cool with that, right? Because that shit's from the earth, right?
Yeah.
But what's wrong with this green plant with the little white crystals on it that can eliminate your headache, eliminate your anxiety, that will boost your appetite if you need it, that will help you sleep, that maybe
literally
it'll
eat this avocado ice cream, but God forbid you fucking eat this edible.
So I mean, there is a distinct dissonance, in my opinion, in what the society at large thinks is healthy, because they'll tell you to eat the shit out of a salad, but they'll also scold you for trying to smoke one.
What did Calvin Johnson tell to get in Brandon Marshall's face about last week? He said my whole career I ate
Chad
McDonald's. Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco. He said I ate McDonald's my whole career. What'd you do? You ate salads and you got injured 11 times.
Chad was like, I never got hurt. I ate McDonald's every day, baby.
Yep. McDonald's give me money, is what he was saying.
So we're using that from a humorous standpoint, and also to relate with people that enjoy sports in the chat and shit. Trying to bring it back to that angle. Like, look, we need to do more research, and we have to stop saying. And what we've done as a society is that we demonize, and we do this with everything. We even do this with people. We're so quick to fucking judge versus thinking, with
we put it's definite statements that we put. This is good and this is bad, and that is not right.
But
because maybe this is good for someone else, and it is not good for you.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, and vice versa. I think that therein lies the issue for sure.
Yeah. When there's science on the table, we need to get to a very specific diagnosis, and we need to understand the patient and then understand the substance and then understand the diagnosis before just being like, all righty, so you said you're depressed?
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
Like not even 2. Like here's 3 different bottles of this shit, of 3 different fucking medication. Call me back in a fucking month.
You're gonna need to take these, and then because your mouth gets dry and you have gonorrhea because of the meds you took, and you might die. You have to also take these 7 medicines on top of that.
Pharmaceutical commercials kill me. Have you and your partner been
all of the side effects are worse than the actual disease.
Yo, it's like you know, have your balls ever itched? Just like, yeah, you know, I think of, you know, my balls itch like once, twice, like, you know, fuck. You know, well, if your balls ever itch, you know, go ahead and take Ball Itchia. Ball Itchia will get rid of all types of ball itches. Now, side effects may include.
Do you suffer from athlete's balls?
Side effects may include shitting yourself, canker sores.
Your ears will bleed and your balls will fall off.
Shrivel ball syndrome.
They won't itch anymore.
Yeah, like you know, now you may have athlete's foot. So like, fuck, like now next time now my balls don't itch, and now I'm free to fuck. But now my feet are gonna stink when I take off my socks. Like, no, man, fuck this.
But now I've got to take 2 other medicines for the athlete's foot. I mean, that's what it is. They're not curing anything. They're masking symptoms and then creating others, right? Like,
yeah. So the worst symptom, and this is every single fucking pill medication commercial symptom. You may shit yourself. That blows my mind.
Shortness of breath and possible death is what gets me.
That one. Yeah. Yo, so I might defecate and die. Like I might fucking.
You know
die.
what? I'd rather my asshole bleed than I can't breathe. Sorry.
Fuck you. Like if you're telling me that yo, you're gonna give me something and you're telling me straight up, you might fucking die. Bruh, you are bugging. You are on shit.
And
you're all what you're telling me.
I guess you could say, you know, some of these drugs that are illegal are kind of like the drugs that are legal, where it's like, yo, you could take this and you might die. You know what I mean? Like,
if your erection lasts for more than 4 hours, call a doctor. Well, then give me ecstasy. Fuck that.
My erection lasts for that long. I'm calling a fucking hooker.
Yo, hey, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if I know, at least with ecstasy, I know that, hey, I'm gonna be.
Leave Viagra out of this conversation. That is not a problem here.
I know it's not a problem, but I hate those commercials. Like, I hate that. It's like, why would you make something that?
But sure, but look, like, if my stomach hurts, right, I'm gonna smoke weed.
Yeah, I'm gonna smoke weed. You know. Like on a rare occasion, I will take Pepto if I really just can't shit. Like if I need to force a bowel movement,
drink a 7-Up, bro.
Bro, I've done that before. Sometimes
I'd rather chew tobacco to force a bowel movement than try to take something.
I've done that.
Tobacco doesn't do shit. You know
no, it does. I've told my girl straight up, babe, I need a pack of cigarettes. Go to 7-Eleven. Hurry.
I mean,
it takes a hit of that stove and takes a dump.
Natural alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Bro, coffee is my favorite. But shit.
Coffee is a drug too. You know
coffee
what I mean?
is a drug.
Yeah.
Coffee.
You know what I mean? Like,
should we talk about alcohol or no?
Yeah, alcohol is another one of those ones that's really
we brought it up. We mentioned it.
Alcohol is how about this? How many people have died because of marijuana? Maybe they did something stupid when they were high and it killed, caused death.
No one's ever died directly of marijuana.
But alcohol, alcohol is a motherfucker.
You know what happens when I smoke too much weed? I eat combos.
Bro,
nobody eats combos unless they're high, and I eat that shit every time.
Combos are throwback, dude. Those are the ones with the little filling in it, and it's like the little.
Yep.
Those are bomb, dude. Those are fire.
That's what happened.
I used to get the pizza ones, the pizza flavored.
Yeah, the pizza joints. When I was like 8 years old, I used to do shit. No, I'm literally not the.
That's what happens when you smoke too much weed. You know what happens when you drink too much? You drive drunk and kill people.
That's what I'm saying. Or you kill yourself like slowly, like your liver, your kidneys, shit like you know what I mean, like. And then, but see, that's another thing too. Alcohol is a perfect example of a legal drug where, in moderation, you should be okay. You know what I mean?
You should be fine.
I'm never gonna sit like I do mushrooms every fucking week. I'm not gonna go and eat a fucking 7 grams of mushrooms and do a hero dose because I'm not gonna.
That
I'm
sounds like an excessive amount of mushrooms.
Exactly. Like I'm
7 grams.
it's called a hero dose. You know what I mean? Like that's when you really want to go and travel through fucking dimensions.
Time, yeah. You
know what I mean? Like
fucking
no,
Mark Growing.
I want to be.
Matt
I
Growing.
want to have heightened senses. I don't want to have sensory overload because that's what a trip is by definition.
I don't have senses if I'm the spider senses if I do 7 grams, dude.
Bro, I am Spider-Man. How about that? Right? I do 7 grams. I'm swinging.
I'm hallucinating just thinking about it. Jesus.
But no, even
moderation.
still, exactly. And that's key. But there are things that are good. There are things that are bad. There are things that are at the end of the day,
and
moderation
different
is key.
countries too. Different countries are gonna
different cultures. Different cultures.
They're gonna.
Yeah.
It's all different perspectives, and they don't got it. They don't necessarily got it wrong or right. Like you know what I mean? Like,
no one has it. No one has it wrong or right. The best thing that you can do is patrol yourself, keep yourself safe.
You gotta find out what's best for you, though. I mean, if that shit isn't working for you, then don't do it.
Exactly. But everyone
listen to a guy or a girl just because they're wearing a white coat with a fucking name tag.
Exactly. And don't just listen to us just because you're like, oh, these motherfuckers are really cool. I'm
gonna go eat 7 grams of mushrooms.
Really cool, but we are also not doctors either.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nor do we play one on television.
Be yourself. Be yourself.
I could.
Be yourself. Be yourself.
KG Dr. Stoner.
Be yourself. Find your identity. But I mean, at the same time, be very safe, and keep yourself safe. Keep your friends around you safe. Do things in a safe environment.
Talk to your medical professional. I had that friend in St. Louis that I mentioned was taking all that Xanax, and I sent Bud to. Like, she went to her doctor and said, "Look, I stopped taking the Xanax because the friend sent me weed."
Months ago, yeah.
The doctor was like, "Look, if that shit is working for you,
then do it. Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
I trust that not every doctor is going to be down with that. But
no, the reason why I landed in Colorado is because a doctor from the VA told me, "Yo, these pills are literally killing your kidneys. Per MRIs and X-rays. Like, there's something that cannabinoids research is showing. This is back in 2012. That research is showing that cannabinoids will help you, kick you back into high gear. I went cold turkey from 2013 to 2014. 2014, I had moved to Colorado Springs and been fine ever since.
Bro, if you have a medical professional that tells you that weed is good, listen to that doctor.
Exactly.
In my opinion, 100%. If that doctor says, "Hey, if that shit's working for you, keep smoking it," trust that doctor, because most of them don't.
Yeah, most of them won't be upfront with you. And this is someone that told me, while things were in early studies, back these guys will tell you, 2012, we didn't know much. We know a lot more now. We were at the tip of the fucking iceberg. They knew, but not to the degree that we know now. And that,
also, almost 10 years. So you got a lot more states that are legal now. Back then, there was only a handful that were medicinal at best. And now I think we're at 13 or something states that are fully legal, and then another 13 plus that are medicinal. So more than half the country has states that can legally, to some extent, smoke weed.
Texas is the only one I feel like they'll try their best to never come around. Texas is one of those ones. Like I used to think.
Let's sell them to Mexico.
Like, I used to think Nevada would never come around. And even because I remember, bro, you used to get caught with a joint in Vegas, bro. You're going to jail. You know what I mean?
Bro, I thought the same thing about North Carolina until I lived out there, and all their tobacco farms have been, not all of them, but a lot of them have turned into hemp farms. They're already prepared to grow cannabis.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of them have. But let's go ahead. Let's wrap up tonight. We've gotten into a lot of astute discussions, and we've talked about a lot. Everybody go
Can we talk
around.
about cults?
What?
Cults.
I love cults.
Oh, hey, Val, we can
Oh.
we can bring that up. But don't worry, we have a very long season of this. This is like
I want you to write that down on the list of topics and make sure that I'm invited for that show.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Because Colts are a motherfucker.
Yeah,
Well, dude,
there's some crazy.
One of my top 3 things I think are cults.
Like I like that like behind like
don't go too far. We gotta leave teasers.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like those are
I'm
some of my
trying to
favorite
start
documentaries to watch.
Like honestly, I'm trying to be a cult leader.
You like what you look like when you got,
I know,
you got the beard.
I know exactly where you're coming from. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the show about nothing. You can follow you can follow the shithead stoner at Fantasy Stoner.
I'm a shithead. Fantasy FB stoner, yes.
Yep, Fantasy FB
stoner. I'm an asshole, but I'm not a scumbag. How about that?
Exactly.
I'd vote for him.
You can follow him at the GMM Network on Instagram and Twitter. And you can follow me at Rumboy, spelled with a ZNET. Literally everywhere you can find me. Follow us. You subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. Subscribe to us on Twitch. All that good stuff. We're also over there now as well. If your doctor tells you to smoke weed, it's probably a drug kingpin. That's hilarious.
You know he got the good shit, Angie. You know he's got the good shit.
Exactly. This is the show about nothing, where we talk about literally nothing and honestly everything. This is all just pure discussions. Just
we making something out of nothing, bro.
Yeah, pure discussions that happen over here. Sometimes it may ruffle feathers. Not really intended to ruffle feathers. Just free thought. Just a think tank.
I don't give a fuck about ruffling feathers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if your feathers get ruffled, you're a bitch.
Feathers get ruffled, yeah, exactly. Just suck it up.
You're welcome. I'll call that foreplay.
In the words of Letterkenny, give your nuts a tug, eh? Shout out to all of our homies up in Canada.
Pitter patter, let's patter.
Pitter patter, let's go. Hey, yes, he got it. Fuck you, Shorzy. You got it. I'm so happy. Hey, we greatly appreciate you all for tuning in with us. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rump Boys and girls. What it do. Dilly. Peace.